Hi there, welcome to Business Leadership Podcast. In this podcast, I interview successful business leaders and industry experts to help you grow your business. In this episode, my guest is Diane Strand. Diane is an award-winning executive producer at JDS Studios and the TV show Spirit of Innovation. She's also a best-selling author of show business. She is the owner of JDS Productions, JDS Actors Studio, and the founder of nonprofit JDS Creative Academy. With her focus on a business of video production and acting, as a former actress, Diane holds producer and production credits from A-list shows like General Hospital, Friends, and Veronica's Closet. She has produced for Disney Channel and the Universal, Creative, and led the producing team that built the ran high-definition controls room at Staples Centers, now Crypto.com. Diane has helped launch over 100 videos and acting careers into a mainstream entertainment and multimedia videos production industry. We had a very interesting discussion. As you know, building business and running a family is not an easy task. And we all have a unique journey and unique path to our success, whatever the goal we're trying to achieve. But we can learn from each other's mistakes. So Diane shared her journey, some of the obstacles she has to overcome, some of the challenges she had to deal with in order to build her business. I'm hoping that you will enjoy this discussion and learn something from our journey, and that something can apply to your business as well. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, don't forget to like and share your feedback. Until next time, please welcome Diane Strand. Hi guys, welcome to Business Leadership Podcast. Today my guest is Diane Strand. Diane, thank you so much for your time today. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our discussion, looking forward to learning from you. If you just walk over the audience through, I see on your website under JDS, there's multiple businesses. Look, I saw one was production company. If you can just provide a little bit overview, how many companies are, what do you actually do in all those companies?
I am the majority owner of JDS Video and Media Productions, and we also have a DBA with JDS Video and Media Productions, which would be JDS Actors Studio, where we provide acting classes and help launch actors into the entertainment industry. Our production company is an award-winning production company. We work with corporate businesses to help them market and communicate their products, their services, as well as internal communications with their employees about how to best support them, whether that be training videos or that be like all hands or customer appreciation to help your employees know their why of what it is that they're doing. And video and multimedia is a good way for companies to be able to express that. And then 10 years ago, I launched a nonprofit as well, which is JDS Creative Academy. And that's to make our world more inclusive. And I think you can do that through the arts. So I'm all about visual performing and digital arts. And through that, I produced a television show. I created a festival, and I'm here to provide pathways and opportunity for those that want to be creativepreneurs, which is what I am. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a creativepreneur. So that's the hashtag JDS family.
Nice. How many years has been? Is it 13, 15 years? Is it more than that? Or because if I'm reading it correctly?
I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. This is my 20th year, and then everything kind of flowed from there. I always believe as an entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of irons in the fire. So that's where we just kept really expanding, still continuing to do that as, I'm starting to even look at, exit strategies and how does that work and how does this live on beyond me, even as an entrepreneur when, my serialness may start slowing down.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what got you into business. I know a lot of people, including myself, a lot of business leaders I talked to, they were very good at their trade one time and they decided they want to jump into business because they want to take, they want to run their own show. Was that one of the driver, or if you walk us through what got you involved in what was behind that building your own company?
Well, I think my entrepreneurship started before I even really knew what entrepreneurship was. I was an actor way back when, wanting to break into the industry myself, doing small roles or commercials here and there, and just loving this industry. And I had the bright idea that, if we were a bunch of unemployed actors, let's just put on a show and bus in children from, the inner cities, and they'll come watch and pay, and we'll perform for them. And that was kind of my first little entrepreneurial jump. I did go on to having to, work in the industry. I started getting a lot of attention with my writing and television shows that I was starting to kind of spin off of theater with a little bit. And then, I worked for, a lot of corporations. I've worked for Disney and Universal and Warner Brothers. I built the high def control room at Staples Center. So understanding the big corporate world, I cut my teeth on industrial videos with Amgen Pharmaceuticals and their Marcom department. So I've seen both sides of it. And then, I got dragged back into reality television in the early 2000s, and that really started to shift my perspective on working for somebody else or working for myself. And my why started to really change. I had a family at this point, and I wanted to be able to be a part of that. I came home one night from reality television. I had missed bath and, bedtime. And my husband looked at me, who's also in the industry. He's a professional actor and he was a director. And he said, what if we quit our fat 6-figure job, sold our house, and became entrepreneurs? And it was within a split second. I said, yes. And it all shifted and changed that quickly. I didn't look back. I truly believe you have to pack your own parachute, trust yourself, and go and show up. And that's what I've done for 20 years, show up for myself. And it's made such a difference. And that's all I knew was video production, multimedia, more even on the entertainment side than even on the corporate marketing side. Although I've always loved journalism and media marketing, and that was a big part of what I did when I worked for Amgen, and it had a little bit of purpose. So when I was making videos for cancer patients or how to take your medication, it had an impact. And so that's what I really wanted to do with our company. And 20 years later, I think I'm kind of in that pathway.
Very interesting. You mentioned something about the reality TV. What was that? Was that easy to get into, or was it easy to produce? Was it a low budget? What was that start changing your thought process that you thought it was possible for you to do it?
Well, reality television, when I worked in reality television, I worked for Wexler Video. So I worked on shows like Big Brother and Survivor and Joe Millionaire. And I was involved with a lot of the production operations, with working with the teams that were on location to make sure they had their equipment and their scheduling. It was very cutthroat. It was just starting out. So it was high intense. You were either winning or failing. And I didn't like that mentality, because I believe you either win or you learn. And so that's what sent me running to entrepreneurship, I would have to say. But reality television is still around today. Production, it's not as real, and it's not as scripted as, both sides of it go.
Wow, very interesting. So how's been journey? I know you started, as moment we get into, as business, we all learn so much. We all have our struggles. So what have been some of the lessons? Like, what has been some of the biggest challenge that you didn't expect that this would be challenged? In my business, the challenges I thought would be challenged, those were not a challenge, but there were some other items that I never I underestimated that these would not be challenged. But those become my challenges. Like a people problem, my business is one of the biggest challenges. I didn't realize getting into it, right? So what was some of those, challenges that you didn't, look into, or you didn't think that would be challenged before you getting into?
Well, I truly believe as an entrepreneur, you get to do something every day you've never done before. So, I look at every new day, new experience as something that I can learn and grow and be able to, you know, get experiences to be able to give to somebody else so they don't fall in the same potholes that I may have fallen in. Some of the things that, I guess I never thought of in the beginning, the feast to famine. One day, everything is happening and you're so busy and you're working, you're overwhelmed. And then the next thing, you're so busy working in your business, you haven't been working on your business. And, you're kind of like, oh, I got to ramp back up. It's that wave as an entrepreneur, because in the beginning, you're busy marketing, marketing, marketing. You start getting in the jobs and then they start working. And then everything you were marketing starts catching up to you, and then
Yeah.
you're doing so much, and then you've worked your way through this mega mess of projects and successfulness, but then all of a sudden, oh wait, I don't have anything in the queue to get
You
me
gotta go
going.
back to marketing.
Yes. So, that was one of the things that I didn't think of in the beginning, how to find the level to be able to stop the roller coaster ride. That probably took a good 5 to 7 years to figure that out. And then the first thing I ever learned, which probably didn't even come true to, I was far more successful as an entrepreneur. Somebody first told me when I became an entrepreneur, your best friends will be a CPA and an attorney. And I thought, oh, well, I don't need really a CPA, because that's how I believe I got my business 101, was I used to work for a CPA. And I was like, well, who's going to sue who? Why
Yeah.
do I need an attorney? Right. But I listened and I got a CPA and I got an attorney, and they have definitely been those that have been the great confidence. Sometimes when you are the entrepreneur, you need to have those other people to be able to bounce things off of, that you can feel comfortable and safe with, to be able to share it. Putting people around you that know more. I truly believe you don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. So,
Yeah.
I like to learn from others and glean all of their information. Managing people, now that I have a staff of 15,
Mm.
that is a total different world from when I was the manager and had a crew of 15 to 100, to them being an entrepreneur and it was just myself and my husband out there doing pretty much everything, with maybe a freelancer or two that would come and go, to then having a staff of 15. Managing people was definitely a very different lesson to learn when it's your bottom line on the line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's one thing to do, work because we are so good at that, but getting the same, quality of work getting done through other people, that's where the challenges comes in, right? So, financial challenges or simply managing people, but you gotta pick up the skill set, whatever as an entrepreneur, whatever skill set is lacking, you gotta pick up and run with it, right? So, how have you been picking up skill set that you didn't have? Because definitely your strength's been creative side and passion about the business. Other side, you got to find the people, as you mentioned, CPA and a lawyer. But how about the other side of skills, like a sales skills or simply a people skills or management skills? How have you been picking up those skill set whenever you need it and running with it?
Well, I'm a true believer that, you have to lead with the way you would want to be treated. So, that has helped me in my management skills and my leadership skills. I also believe that I would not ask anybody to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Doesn't mean I have to do it myself. It
Yeah.
just means that I would if need be, and I have. So I think those are some things that, I just take from my culture and my personality that come through, as well as, I go to conferences, I learn from others. I don't try and do it alone. I have mentors out there that, are doing it longer, better, different. I see what they do. Some of it I adopt, some of it doesn't fit right for me. I really try and always provide a purpose for my employees. So that has helped me in being able to feed their passions. I believe that if you are doing something you're passionate about and it gives you purpose and you can turn that into a profit, then it's a win-win for everybody. I like to encourage others to reach for their dreams and their goals. Uh, People ask me kind of now what I do for a living, and I say I'm a dream maker. I make
Yeah.
dreams come true, and I help others find their passion and their purpose and create a profit out of it. So, challenges, everyone has a challenge. Some are born with challenges, some create their own challenges, some have challenges that just get dumped on their doorstep. And it's how you pick yourself up and move through them that I think counts. And I think also in the long run, win. That's how those win. You win, and those win around you. In the short term, those that may play dirty or do those kinds of things and are like the true bull in the china shop. Now I can be
Yeah.
that. I'm direct and I am to the point. And when I am talking business, I am straight and effective in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can be those things when you show your grace in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's allowed me to be able to make dreams come true, reach other people. I respect other people's time, money, and energy. So I
Very
think that
interesting.
makes a difference.
So you mentioned two very, to me, very critical items. So let's unpack slowly. So the first one you mentioned was mentorship. What point in a business you thought, and how did you know that you were ready for mentorships, and how important that's been that somebody's done that and they can walk you through it. If you follow this path, you can get there much faster, right? So how important the mentorship has been, and you know what point of time in a business that you were ready for mentorship, and would you advise people to find a mentorship a little early on in a business, or what point they should be looking for a mentorship?
Well, I think that's different. I've ebbed and flowed through mentorship, always having mentors in my life, but not always being in a coaching program, so to speak. First mentor would probably be my father, right? And watching him, he was a great salesman, and learning from him, I that's where I get my gift of gab from, where I can talk my way into or out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that comes from those acting skills. That's a lot of, I couldn't do what I do, present and speak and lead and put things forth, if I didn't have some of those acting skills. So I have gotten coaching and training in different ways that have fed me in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I also have had the coaching programs that I've been with at various times. I would say that was definitely harder earlier on in my business just because of the cost, to be able to commit to something and feel that I was able to get the value out of it. You have to be able to put the time into it, work the programs that are there that fit for you. As I became more successful in business and started reaching some of those plateaus, I needed a mentor to maybe push me over that platform,
Mm-hmm.
that plateau, because we get in those places, even though I could coach somebody in their mindset and tell them how their fear is stopping them from proceeding, I might not be able to see that inside myself and
Mm-hmm.
need somebody else to help point that out for me, because just because I'm in chapter 20 at the moment doesn't mean that things still don't come up for me, because I got lots of chapters still ahead of me. And as I still grow and build, I get those blockers, and I have to find new coaches or mentors that are able to reprocess my thinking in there, where some of the old ways of doing it when I was in year 5 or 10 needed different coaching and different mentorship to be able to make that work. So I think you have to move around a little bit. You got to find what works for you, but you should always have someone that you're mentoring after, even if it's not in an official program, because we can't do it alone. And you have to be able to stay. Entrepreneurship is much more a mindset game than it is a how-to game.
Yeah, there's so many blind spots. You're not going to be able to see all your blind spots. You're going to need somebody to walk you through your blind spots, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
And blind spots come in different ways. I mean,
you got it. Yeah.
I am a writer, but I'm terrible at spelling and grammar. So I have to have somebody who's going to at least go through. I'm an author. I write books, but somebody has to like go through and put the commas in and the punctuation and look at that, because that's not my skill set. I'm the storyteller. I'm the one who can put it out there, but doesn't mean that, I can write it from A to Z. I need help there. So, I definitely believe that you have to have those that can support you, because you can't do it all. Even things that I could do way back when, I can't do them now, because if I was so busy still doing that, then I would have that job, not be running the business. My job now is to be a CEO and to be an entrepreneur that is working on the business, because if I spend too much time working in the business, we won't continue to grow. And that really shifted about year 7 or 8, where I had to start really pulling myself away from the social media and the creating the flyers and, doing all of the script writing or teaching the classes, because there still are only 24 hours in the day and 7 days in the week.
Yeah, you got to find the most valuable where you can, make more impact and just focus on those items instead of you trying to do 20 other items around it, right?
Yes.
So I find the second point you mentioned, that about aligning people with your goals and helping them achieve their own goals. I find when I understood this in a business, that changed my business quite a bit. We all hired people to help us to move business forward. People need a jobs, definitely, but I think once you find that the magic of, you have your own goals, your own objectives, but if you can get, help people to align their goals with your goals, then you get a true team players, and these people will help you push through a lot of obstacles that you would not be able to push through without it. You mentioned a little bit about that you help people to line you make the dream comes true. How was the process, and how did you come across this, and how's that's been helpful to your business?
Well, I think it happened before I realized it was happening. They always say you can't connect those dots looking forward or plan them out. You have to look back. And, when I look back, I see exactly why I am where I am. Now, in the moment, it wasn't mean I didn't figure it all out. I was just doing it to do it because it seemed like what needed to be done in the moment. Just like our program, which is teaching adults with developmental disabilities how to learn video production, career pathways, and then go out and work. And I've placed over 8 into jobs working in the professional entertainment industry that have autism, cerebral palsy, learning disabilities. And it just started with saying yes to one simple request. It didn't start with make these people's dreams come true, go get them a job, because I'd be like, how am I going to make that happen? Right. It was first it was meeting someone at a chamber mixer. That's that show up, because that's where opportunities happen. You got to get out from behind your desk. You have to show up. You have to network. You have to meet people. You have to step outside that comfort zone. And then when that happens, and then somebody makes a request, and you're like, why would I want to? Oh, okay. You have to say yes. And you can pivot, you can say no. You don't have to say yes to everything, but you need to start saying yes to something. And it was, yes, I'll have coffee, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how bad is that? So
Yeah.
here's coffee. And then sitting down, oh, this is what I do. I work with da 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 da. And I have a young man who has disabilities, and he just loves audio. Can he come and just hang out? He'll clean your toilets even, or he'll sweep your floors. He just wants to be around audio. Okay. I'm like, well, how can I help him? That's my thought. I'm like, I don't really have anything for him to do, but instead of coming up with all the objections, how much time is this going to take for me? I don't have anything. Am I going to have to figure out something? I said, yes, I would figure it out as I went along. He showed up. He loved audio. He knew audio. He just didn't know how to communicate how much he knew out of audio. He was a
Mm-hmm.
man with disabilities. And after you started lighting him up, he became a great audio engineer, as well as someone who moves stuff around the studio and clean. And that was all by saying yes. And then watching him and how much I was able to teach him in 4 months. I'm like, I need to do more of this. This is my crew. This is how we can put the TV show together I've always wanted to do. And I can train them. And I can. So I wrote a curriculum, and it was just one step in front of the other. I didn't have it all figured out. I said, yes, I showed up. And next thing I knew, while I was making his dreams come true, my dreams were coming
Beautiful.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I had always said I wanted to produce news and information for Riverside County. We live in a media desert. I didn't know how I was going to afford to do that, be able to make that happen, have a crew. But I created a program which was to help other people learn and get their dreams. And now I have an award-winning show on TV for 6 years that's getting bigger and bigger and more distribution. And I have the state of California looking at me, and all I was doing was making their dreams come true. But lo
Wow.
and behold, here I am with my dreams coming true. And that's how it happens. It's not something that if I would have sat down and went, well, if I do this and I do this and I do that, it would have never have come out. You have to see something at the end and then figure out the how along the way. I knew I wanted a TV show. And then instantly it was to help this guy. Well, that guy helped me get my TV show.
Yeah. Isn't it so beautiful how it works out when you help others? It kind of come the energy somehow. I don't know if it's the energy, I don't know what it is, that it comes back and it multiplies and help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Yes. And it really is that law of attraction, the manifestation, stepping outside your comfort zone, letting the opportunities come to you. I mean, I know when I've been stuck behind my desk, even today, too long, and I'm like, I got to go to a chamber event. I got to go do some things locally, because that's what makes things happen. I just walk into it, but I'm much more comfortable sitting behind my desk, just doing payroll, doing
Yeah.
this, doing that, which those things have to be done too,
For
but
sure.
have to step out into that arena, and you have to play, and you have to. And that's why I love the arts. It levels the playing field, because it's so subjective that when everybody is coming at it in that subjective kind of way, you lead with more kindness. So I step out, and how can I help somebody else? Lo and behold, in the long run, I'm gonna help myself. It can be altruistic, but now that I've kind of put a little bit around, it's not all that altruistic, but it works.
Mm-hmm. So being subjective, as you mentioned, is that a benefit, or is it also can hold you back as well? Because if it's so subjective, how do you do it over and over? Because it was very subjective. So is it a benefit in a business, or is just the nature of the business, or is it also create some challenges as well, as you move forward?
I think it's a benefit of the business. Absolutely. Just like I said, I mean, networking is not easy for anyone to go up to someone you don't know and go, hi, my name is, what do you do? Right? Everybody is like, what are they going to
Yeah.
think of? What are they going to do that? But when you are putting yourself out there and somebody else is putting themselves out there, and you realize that you're both stepping out your comfort zone, you're a little bit more kind to one another. Same thing with the arts. When you are working in the arts and everybody is doing something creative, I'm not saying you don't give critiques, but you understand how to critique someone. It makes you a stronger leader. It makes you a stronger mentor. It also makes you a better learner, because if you're trying to learn from someone who is being mean or rude, or you're not going to learn anything. They might have the most valuable information, but if they're not dealing with the subjectiveness that this is somebody who is trying to learn from me, leading with kindness. And I think, and that's where I think the arts help. We're not all creative, but we all have to lead with that mentality that everything is subjective. And so if we're kinder to one another and we're helping the person, we're going to be helped back in 10 spades. It really does come back at you. You mentor, you help, you step outside your comfort zone, you do something you've never done before. It all will come back at you and work for you. And the arts teach you how to be a team player, how to be able to allow other people's ideas in. This works for engineers and manufacturers. And, as you're trying to problem solve these things, when you start dealing with, if you start dealing with these situations the same way you would sit down and everybody would show their piece of art, going, oh, great job, you did that, that's really good, and you start from there, we're all going to build upon it. We're all going to look and go, well, that's the best one. Let's start from there, right? And then we can all, but I did the blue really well, or I can color in the line, so you trace it out and I'll fill it in. That's how we all can work together to build rocket ships and solutions for global warming, all of the things. It all starts with how we treat each other and how we can grow together, because when we stay in our silos, we all get angrier and meaner and think we all have the answers and everyone's out to get us. And
well, when you're working in a team, in a collaborative environment, you're picking the best out of everybody, right? So everybody's come up with the idea and you pick the best out of everybody's idea, and you make a progress that way, right?
Yes.
But your business, Dan, you're in a communication business, definitely. In a video or training people, it's all communication. How do you communicate a message? And I know this is a challenge. A lot of my colleagues, business leaders who are watching us, listening to us, they struggle with this area. This communication become a bigger part of business, whether you communicating with your internal staff or with your customers or with your market. Especially video plays a huge role these days in a communication. But I know a lot of our business leaders, they struggle in this area. Where you see some of the struggles are, where they struggle, is it a messaging, is it a production, or where you think some of the struggles are for business leaders in this area?
Well, I think business leaders think that it's a cost that you have to invest in, just like training your staff, just like being able to pull them together to figure out why their why is that they come to work, make their why more important than just the paycheck that you give them at the end of the week. It has to be worth more. Otherwise, they're chasing the paycheck and they're not going to be there, and you're not going to have any long-term loyalty that's going to build. Video really changes the way people can digest information. And that's one of the most important things. It really is working a lot of our senses at the same time. We're seeing things, we're hearing things, we're feeling things. It brings up different thoughts and emotions for each people that they're able to process. And that's why video is a powerful tool. They say, if a picture can, say 100 words or 1,000 words, a video can be 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000 messages and words that can come out very quickly. You're able to get that across. It does more to inspire people. And then you can reach out and really get that personal one-to-one attention with someone after maybe you've met them. We all do business with people we know, like, and trust. And so if you can create a video to start that know, like, and trust, whether you're trying to sell them something or you're trying to inspire them to do something, whether that's your internal or your external client, you're able to teach people things in a much quicker, more precise way than having them glaze right over because you're trying to lecture at them or do something where you can juxtaposition a message in the verbal sense with the pictures to create a story. And that's the best thing, is if we all look at how we communicate with people by telling stories, we're going to connect more with the people we're trying to message.
Yeah, it's much easier to digest when you tell in a story format than simply instructional format, right? And the corporations, I think, whether you communicate with the internal staff or external, is definitely the story makes it much easier to communicate effectively with the people and get the message out.
Yes, and a video lives a lot longer, than one might think. It's like, oh, I'm going to do a video, I'm going to have to replace it. No, it's the flyer you have to replace. It's the all the documentation that you have to keep updating. A video is really easy to update. If something changed, edit it right in. You can change that. I mean, that's the thing when you were talking about why does it scare most business. There's usually a little bit of sticker shock that goes with it in the beginning, but the longevity of that video and the longevity even instantaneously, where it can live in so many different places depending on what you're using it for, the ROI is incredible against all your other marketing collateral that you're going to put out there.
Yeah, I've been always, encouraging my colleague business leaders or for staff as well. We have a rule that if you're going to write an email and there's more than 5 lines, there better be a video in it. Because you can communicate a lot more content than 5 lines. Because if any email, we get so many emails during the day, after 5 lines, you kind of start getting a little boring, right? So it's easier to put a lot of video clip in it, and you can explain a lot of items that you would have not able to explain properly in an email itself, right?
Yes. It is so much more of a powerful tool to be able to get your message across and be able to really connect, because words, sometimes not everybody reads your words in the way that they were intended to come across. Sarcasm doesn't read as well in text as it does in person, when you can kind of go,
Did that during the COVID, did that get a little bit more important? The video got more, I know we spend more time on a Zooms, we spend more time on a video conferencing. What are we doing right now? We talking on a video. I know people did a lot of that stuff, but how about a video production itself? Did that become more important than because we were working not in a central environment, we were all decentralized, working from home? Did that become a little bit more important because we were all decentralized?
Yeah, I mean, I don't play much in the video tools like we're doing back and forth on the Zoom and getting into that. That's not my world. But my world definitely, because I live stream. So a lot of live events came knocking on our door that needed to still put the event on and do it in a live stream way. So we did a couple of big events for our city and our chamber, and a couple of hospitals that needed to still get information out in that way. So it, COVID was somewhat profitable for my business along those times. I definitely became an essential worker in getting out the news and the information on a local level, because I live in the LA media market. So everybody was just watching what was going on in LA. So to be able to narrow that down to Riverside County, which is where we live and is still 2.4 million people, we were able to provide local information to Riverside County and not get scooped up and lost in the LA media market.
Wow. Was that recent writer strike impacted your business any shape or form?
No, I'm a non-union, so that didn't really affect my business. But it did affect some of my students, because they are working to, break into the entertainment industry, whether that be the actors or the writers. So we've had a couple that have been a little affected on our student level, but it didn't affect our production company, no.
So how about those tools came out, AI? I think that was one of the issue with the, Chat GPT. Those tools, are they helping in your business, Dan, or they are causing issues? Or what are your thoughts on those tools?
Uh, I think everything in moderation is good. AI, I've dabbled in it, I've played in it. There are certain things that, it has helped in some of the, giving you some fresh new ideas when you're trying to write, give me 15 new topics to kind of social media on, or put together a PowerPoint presentation and pull in some creatives a little quickly. But at the same time, we use it to maybe as a tool, which I think it's a great tool that everyone should learn how to use. Just like when social media was new and email was new and Zoom was new, all of these things are tools that we now use every single day and help us expand and leverage our business. Don't rely on it to be the solution for your business, but use it in don't replace a human with it, but let a human leverage it for its best quality. That is my thought process behind it. But I don't work in manufacturing. I work in a little different, much more human kind of business. Like I said, I use it in certain things. In a rough cut, I'll let AI put the voice out there so we can cut to voice, but I will still bring in the talent, because an AI is never going to be able to get that human inflection that the real voice can give you.
Yeah, I find the same way. Is very good at brainstorming or ideas. And very good at finding a draft ideas. And then you need to still work at it and get it to the level where you want it to get to. But yeah, definitely is good for brainstorming here and there to different ideas.
Yes. And analyzing data, in a financial situation, if I really, instead of putting in and having to go through and figure out all the percentages and do all that, I might throw a whole bunch of numbers in and say, analyze this, give me the percentage of this versus this and that versus that, and let it chew on it and spit me out something, and I'll go make a cup of tea. And then I'll come back and I'll analyze the percentages and where we're at, and then have to maybe drill into, why is that percentage so low? Now I need to drill in, and is that taking me to a specific moment, a day, a time, a product, a service? AI can't measure that for you in looking and going, oh, that was that Tuesday. And oh, we had that employee situation that happened. And maybe that's why that was that.
Very, very interesting. So what's coming your way, Dan? We almost finished 2023. For 2024. What's ahead of you, Dan? Where's the business going? What's the big items you're working on?
Well, I have a book that will launch in early 2024, which will be The Creativepreneur, helping more people find their entrepreneurship dream, whether they want to be a creativepreneur in whatever business it is they do, or they want to create a creative business. I'm here to help them do that. We also are in DigiFest season, which is our 3-day film festival, but it's so much more than a film festival. It's everything that is digital media. I hope you're going to enter your podcast into our festival. We do podcasts and music and video and short film, documentary, all of the above. It's it takes up a lot of time, but we bring Hollywood to Temecula, and it's a great way to get laurels for the work that's being done out there, as well as, I'm just going to keep every day making dreams come true, whether that's putting them on the news, or helping people find their career pathways, and helping businesses be more inclusive, and realize that you just need someone who has passion, and the rest we can teach them.
Very interesting. So when is the book coming out then?
I don't have an actual launch date. I would say look for it sometime March of 2024.
Okay, maybe when the book is released, we get to talk again and find out, what is the book about? Simply just an entrepreneur, or is there something more about the show business as well involved in it?
Well, that is my show business, How to Break into the Industry as an Actor, went bestseller in its first year of coming out, which was in 2022. So that one is really much more focused on the actors and the production companies that want to break into the industry, a little bit more how-to. The creativepreneur is set a little bit more in mindset, as well as some real steps, how you can launch, whether it's a for-profit or a nonprofit business. It's also going to launch with my course, which is going to help with Arts Across America, and helping entrepreneurs launch their creative business, or entrepreneurs be more creative in their entrepreneurship, and bringing arts, because like I said, I truly believe arts levels the playing field. And when it's introduced at an early level to whether that be youth, teens, or young adults, it will help them be much more prepared for whatever their career pathway will be.
Very interesting. I'm gonna find the links and include below the video as well, so people can just click a button, they can get all the details what they need, and can connect with you as well. So good stuff. I want to appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your time, and really appreciate the time you're spending with me. So any word of wisdom, people who are looking to start a business, or people, entrepreneurs who's thinking about a business, they are in your show business, any word of wisdom you want to share with them, that anything they can do to avoid some of the mistakes we all go through when we're building a business?
Well, I just want to say thank you first to you for having me here. It's been a pleasure just to talk to you. And as I'm sharing my gratitude, that's one of the first things, get grateful. Not every day is, rainbows and roses, but if you can make every day some sort of a unicorn day, then that is a good day. You have to step outside your comfort zone. You have to show up and you have to say yes. Those are the big key factors. And, the how reveals itself. Keep reaching for the dream. Be grateful, because when you're grateful, you're in a different spot than when you are being negative, and more things will happen. If you sit and stew in it, you're just going to boil.
Yeah, it's people like you who built the businesses. Then, we set up a very strong example for the people who, going into business. Definitely it's encouraging. When I started business, I didn't have a lot of people who built the business before me to follow. But I think it's very encouraging for young people coming out of schools, universities. They want to build that, the dream business, and watching you that you already built it. It's much easier, very encouraging somebody to jump in a business. Listen, I want to do what you just did for you and your family.
Well, I hope to be able to help them. And that's what my course is about, and my new book, as well as, whatever you want to do, I'm here to help you launch.
Beautiful. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you for conversation? What's the best way to connect with you?
Well, I do have my website, which is dianestrand.com. The best website to find anything JDS is jdsstudio.live. And then I'm on every social media that's out there, whether that's under me or JDS Video and Media Production, Actors Studio, or JDS Creative Academy. #JDS.
Beautiful. I'm going to include links to all of that below the video. Thank you so much for your time, Dan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.